Welcome to the Broadband Catalyst Video Help Series. In this video, we will be creating polygons which you can use to define an area, such as a neighborhood. On my screen, you can see that I have a QGIS project open, and I have some data points displayed. These data points are the locations of post offices in the state of North Carolina, and I just have them open as an example. Your project probably has lots more layers and points of data than just post offices, but this should suffice for our example today. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is let's give this some context. So I'm going to add the OpenStreetMap standard map as a base layer so that I have some context for what I'm doing. To do that, I'm going to go across the top menu here until I find the web option. I'm going to choose the Quick Map Services, OSM, that stands for OpenStreetMap, and I'm going to choose OSM Standard. Now there's a little bit of context for you. You can see that's the state of North Carolina. And I decided that I want to look at the neighborhoods around Lake Lure, North Carolina. So in my bottom left panel here, I actually have the OSM Place Search, which is another plugin. And I'm just going to type that in, and it will bring up this list of places that match. I'm going to choose the one I'm looking for and double click. And it showed up, I'll do it again. If you watch right here, it showed up as a purple dot. So if I double click, oh, there it is. Okay, it's showing me where it's at. And so now I can just zoom in. If you are familiar with this area, please forgive me. I am going to give you new neighborhoods for today. So let's say that we want all of the east side of Lake Lure and the west side of Lake Lure to be their own neighborhoods. I'm going to do this with a feature called Polygons, and we are going to learn how to create polygons. Your project probably already has several layers of them, but this is how you create a new one. So we are going to go to the layer menu in QGIS, and we're going to create a new layer, and we're going to create a new GeoPackage layer. Okay, this brings up a dialog box which allows you to set up this new layer. The first thing is we need to tell it what it's going to be called and where it's going to be saved. And the best thing that you can do when creating a new layer is to save it in the same folder your project is in. So I'm going to do that now by using these three buttons, these three dots on this button to the right, where it says Browse. I'm going to click this, and it will bring up my File Explorer. And now I'm going to navigate to where I want this layer to save. So this is the folder that my project is in, and I'm just going to call this Creating Polygons for the purposes of this demonstration, so I know what it is. Okay, that gives you the table name here when you type that in. And then we're going to choose our geometry type. So you'll notice there's a couple of different polygons here. We are going to choose MultiPolygon. Okay, we're going to choose our CRS, and that's your coordinate reference system. And if you'll click on that and find the one that says Project CRS. In my case, my CRS is 4269. And I can verify that by looking in the bottom right corner where it says EPSG 4269. So I'm going to choose that. And let's say that we want to add a name fields to our table. Because what this is going to do is going to create a new data table to record this information that we're creating. So I want a field called name. It's going to give me the name of I'm going to enter the name of the neighborhood once I've created the polygon so that I know what area I created. And we're going to add this to the fields list. Okay, those are the necessary inputs. So now we're going to go to the OK button and press OK. On the left hand side, you can see I now have a layer that says creating polygons. If I right click on this and I show feature count, you can see there are 0 features in this table, in this layer. Another way I can check that is I can right click and open the attribute table, and there's nothing there. Oh, I guess, here we go. Nothing in my attribute table. I am ready to create my polygon to define my neighborhood. I am going to go to the toolbar across the top and choose the single pencil, and it's called toggle editing. I may refer to it as turning edit mode on or off. And when I do that, it opens up a couple more options for me. If I go 3 icons to the right, I have an add polygon feature, and that's what I'm going to be using to create my polygon. So I'm going to click that, and then when I click on my map, it will put down like an anchoring point. And you can see I have a red line that's following my mouse. That red line demonstrates the line of my polygon as I click and create. So maybe this new neighborhood that I am creating for these lovely people on Lake Lure, let's say let's say that this is the Eastern Lake Lure community. Okay, and the way that I created this as I was going is when I reached a new point, I simply clicked and it set down an anchor. Now that I have closed it up and I want to move on, I'm going to right click, and that will create the feature, and I'm going to give it a name. You can leave the field ID on auto generate, and I'm going to call this the Eastern Lake Lure community. And I'm going to say OK. Now I've created a polygon that if there were points of data that fell into that polygon, I could focus on those points of data or something, whatever other thing you want to do with an area in QGIS. As an example, I'm going to make another polygon. This time, I am going to create one that is the Western Lake Lure community. So I'm going to go right to where I stopped. And I'm using my scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. And clicking my scroll wheel, I don't know if you know you can do that. You can actually hold down your mouse wheel and dragging the map in order to move it around. So I'm just kind of determining my new neighborhood boundaries. Let's say that West Lake Lure comes this way a little further. Yeah, let's say that this is the Western Lake Lure community. So I set down my points and I right click, and I'm going to say this is Western Lake Lure. And now I have 2 polygons. When I'm finished creating my polygons, I am going to come back over to the editing mode icon in my toolbar, and I'm going to click it again. That will prompt QGIS to ask me, do you want to save the changes? Yes, you want to save the changes. So I'm going to push save. And now you can see I have 2 features. I'm looking in my layers panel over here. I have 2 features. And if I open that attribute table, you can now see I have Eastern Lake Lure. Here, I can make this wider. The Eastern Lake Lure community and the Western Lake Lure community in my polygon list. Okay, so that is how you create a polygon in QGIS. And to give you an example of collecting the data points, since that's something that I said, I'm going to create one more. I'm going to put it back in editing mode, create a polygon, and I'm going to make up an area yet again. And let's see, what's this called? Memorial Highway. Okay. Sorry. Okay, now in that polygon, I'm going to go ahead and save. If I rearrange my layers, you can now see there's 2 points, 2 post offices in that polygon. So if I wanted to focus on the information within that area, that's why that polygon is so useful. I hope you found this video helpful. If you still have questions, feel free to email us or check out the rest of our help playlists.